Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses. Mr. Brain, I just have a couple of real quick questions for you. You talked an awful lot about climate change in your statement. What have you done in terms of working with the National Forest Service to address the mismanagement of our national forests, the catastrophic forest fires, pine beetle outbreak, and those kinds of things in terms of the impact on our reservoirs in the interior West?
Congresswoman, thank you so much for the question. We work collaboratively with a number of our sister agencies throughout the federal government. I'll be happy to get back to you on the specifics of exactly how we collaborate with them, and we have.
You don't have those answers today?
I don't, ma'am, but I can tell you.
But you can talk a lot about climate change, but you won't talk. You can't talk about the impact of the Forest Service that they're having on our reservoirs in the interior West?
In an effort to accurately answer your question, I'd like to get back with you with the specifics of those interactions, but I can tell you that we do share science with them to ensure that they're making decisions based off of the best available science that we have in the federal government.
Sure. And I'd also like to thank the gentlelady from Colorado for introducing H.R. 3675, which I'm proud to co-sponsor. It allows water users to make payments more quickly and remove the burden of lengthy reporting requirements established by the Reclamation Reform Act. It accelerates Treasury receipts while ensuring that all actual obligations for repayment are met, being repaid at present value. Perhaps most importantly, as Mr. Michael highlighted in his testimony, this legislation will increase certainty for contractors regarding their long-term water supply, and providing this kind of certainty is extremely important to the West. Mr. Michael, you highlighted in your testimony the need to incentivize construction of additional water storage so that we can catch more water in wet periods, such as what we've seen this winter and this spring. Mr. Michael, how have you already seen the success of the water infrastructure improvements for the nation, or the WIN Act, which we intend to permanently reauthorize through this legislation, strengthen Western water storage capacity? How has the WIN Act impacted that?
The WIN Act has given opportunities for our members to pursue numerous different projects. So in addition to the contract repayment, which has been very helpful, it's also incentivized under the Water Smart program, many different projects within our member agencies to help accelerate, again, creative solutions to deal with the water supply challenges that we have. So it's really an ability to put more dollars to work and more projects on the table.
Well, and you also highlighted in your testimony that it is typical for water users to continue making these payments for 40 to 50 years through a repayment contract or water services contract on top of the operations and maintenance facility payments. How have you seen the process of needing to do this annually stifle the confidence of developers and ultimately prevent water projects from being developed?
It's just another layer of difficulty and just challenge of every year filing, numerous papers, and our districts are already challenged with a number of regulatory requirements, and it just adds to the strain already, and speaks to the affordability for our water users to have, a huge amount of staff time taken up with the reporting requirements, and on top of everything else we have to do.
Just more bureaucratic red tape.
A lot more work.
Okay. So is it safe to say that the length and complexity of the current process detours water project development?
I don't think it helps. I mean, definitely doesn't help at a time when we certainly need acceleration versus more difficulties.
Well, and you specifically stated that the RRA required extensive reporting and paperwork each year for water delivered to lands in excess of the established limits, but that prepayments open the door to removing these limitations. I have constituents who have been forced to either pay heavy fees or establish new entities every time a new operation exceeds 960 acres. I have one constituent who called in because he's had to establish 5 different entities at the recommendation of the Bureau of Reclamation, by the way, to avoid these fees. Does this legislation allow irrigators bound by the 960 limitation to no longer be subject to those requirements if they make the prepayments?
Yeah, that is correct. And I would say that in California, especially the regulatory burdens and just the cost in all aspects are forcing scale for a lot of farms. And so if you're operating, it's more efficient to have scale and effective. So again, it's helpful to have that.
Thank you. And that's excellent. This is a great piece of legislation. I'm deeply appreciative of the gentlelady from Colorado for leading on this. And I will take you up on that offer. I'd sure like to find out the information from the Bureau of Reclamation as to what they're doing to work with the U.S. Forest Service to prevent the kind of catastrophes that we've seen that impact our reservoirs and our ability to store water. I look forward to that information.
Certainly, Congresswoman, we
Thank
look
you.
forward to it as well.